All right, it's 5:30 and time to start our regular meeting with a roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton.
Here.
Commissioner Barwick.
Here.
Commissioner Webb.
Here.
Commissioner Stecklin.
Here.
Mayor Absher.
Here. Would you all stand with me and join in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, item number 3 on the agenda is the opportunity for the public to comment on anything they'd like to speak to the council, subject to a couple of ordinances that are up here on the table or the counter next to that flower arrangement. Is there anybody who'd like to speak to the council this evening? Only 2 people here, so no. All right, hearing no requests, we move on to item number 4, our consent agenda, which consists of items A through D and sub-items. Anyone on the council want any item or sub-item removed from the consent agenda and voted upon separately? Any of you guys in the audience want any of these items voted upon separately? Okay, I would entertain a motion to pass the consent agenda as presented then.
Make a motion to pass the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion on any of these items? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton.
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick.
Yay.
Commissioner Webb.
Yay.
Commissioner Stecklin.
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay. All right, under item 5, we've got 2 items under building and code services that are basically the same project. I had anticipated there would be some folks here that were in opposition to this, although I do not see any tonight. So I'm not sure that that dictates in this case that we have any semblance of a hearing, so to speak. One of the things that I've gotten wrong in the past on this, I want to set us all straight on this. The way the code reads is that we are supposed to act upon the recommendation of the zoning board. This is a little bit odd tonight because technically we don't have a recommendation because of an abstention created a situation where there's not actually a majority vote of those present and voting. That said, the way the code reads is that we shall act without further hearing, which does not mean we can't ask questions, but in the past, this is my fault, I've kind of let it turn into a whole nother hearing, which you guys can let that happen if you want to ask questions and such. That's just not exactly the way the process is supposed to be. So my intention, assuming there were going to be folks here, was, and this is what my demeanor is going to be moving forward, so that you guys know. So that we don't deny somebody the opportunity to summarize. Both the developer will be given up to 5 minutes to speak about their project, and while that's happening, if there's any opposition here, they can organize and appoint a spokesperson that would then give their feedback, so that we can kind of do both here, as allow people their opportunity to speak and not be disrespectful of that, but at the same time be as respectful of the council time, because the hearing took place in the zoning meeting. So, that being said, we've got 2 ordinances on the agenda. This is on East Main Street. Most people will recognize this as the property where WGGH currently stands. And that piece of property is item A, and that parcel which is listed there, that is currently zoned as C1 General Commercial. The request is to rezone it to R2, General Family Residential. The agenda says to build apartments, but from the notes that I'm reading, you're not entirely sure whether that will be all apartments or a mix of single-family homes and apartments. But I presume it wouldn't be either unless it's rezoned. So I know there was, we all know from the notes that were presented to us, there was some opposition to this. Item B is the parcel that's due south, I believe, of that parcel, which is currently, it would all be one contiguous development, is that right? But it is, that piece is zoned as RA, which is the default usually when something comes into city limits. And so the developer in this case, of course, wants that parcel also rezoned to R2. So, I will make note that we have the option of remanding this, if you will, back to the zoning board since they did not make a decision, but there are some mitigating circumstances. Both I and the city attorney recommend that we act on this, which is in your notes. This has been a long, drawn-out process. We have an attendance problem with, our inability for attendance specifically of one zoning board member. There's 5 on that board. It takes 3 to reach a quorum. We had several months during the holidays and such. I think this has been attempted since November. So we can make that motion if you guys want to do that instead of thumbs up or thumbs down on this, but because of the delay that's already taken place, I think that's an unreasonable thing to do in this circumstance. And frankly, we may not end up with a quorum again. If we do, that's my fear. So, I know you guys may have some comments on this. I'll just get the ball moving. It's my motion to approve ordinance 3856, authorize a zoning change at 1801 East Main. That parcel 0720201003. That's rezoned from, would be rezoned from C1 general commercial to R2 general family residential to build apartments is what this is written at, and or single family homes as per the notes we have.
Second that motion.
Couple of questions I have. Tammy, these are directed basically to you. I think, well, I'm looking at the drawing and I understand the drawing at this point is conceptual,
Yes.
may change. But as you go down the street, traveling south on the street from Route 13 to the very end of the cul-de-sac, there are streets coming off to the right and to the left, or to the east and to the west. Do those streets dead end at the driveways, or do they continue on to the property line?
They dead end, but that's just a rough draft.
Okay,
We're just trying to lay them out and see how many we could get on there. The engineers are working on it. We were wanting to do like a dog park, a playground area if we did apartments. And then there's a detention ponds will come into play too.
and those are depicted on the elliptical shapes at the very south end of the property.
Point to me what your question is. I'm not sure I understand what you're.
You see how these drives come off of the main drive?
Yeah.
Would those be considered streets, or would they be considered drives?
I would say drive.
Okay, if they're drives, I think we're fine, because I vaguely remember an ordinance that says if it's a street, it has to end in a cul-de-sac.
And have 50-foot right of way.
Yes, so if it's a drive off of the street, I think we're okay.
If it's going to be single family, it's one thing, if it's going to be apartments, it's something else. If it's single family, it's a road.
Yes,
It's a different thing at the county when they record it versus a rental units for
Right.
apartments for drive.
right,
Well, Doug, I think what you're thinking of too, the reason that rule is there is for emergency vehicles
Yes.
like fire trucks.
precisely,
There
yeah.
has to be a way for large emergency vehicles like a fire truck to be able to turn around,
Yes,
or an ambulance, things like that. There has to be a method for them to be able to turn around if need be
right,
in an emergency situation. So that's something that would definitely, but that would be later on for approval of
right,
the plat,
Of the
not
plat,
necessarily
right.
for the zone. That's not a zoning issue.
exactly.
That's a
And that was kind of my question, which will lead me to where I want to end up anyway.
Okay.
These units, the ones on the west would be triplexes?
Yes, we put a.
At this
combination.
point.
At this point, right,
Yeah.
that's just
All
rough.
this could change.
Yes,
yeah,
all this could change,
okay.
yeah. We looked at doing just duplexes and then adding some triplexes, just trying to get a feel of what we actually could put on the property.
Okay,
That's very rough.
okay. Maybe those questions should be, maybe we should wait for a site plan for me to ask those questions. So right now, I guess the issue at hand is zoning.
The zone,
And
right,
I apologize for kind of
that's okay.
mixing my two things.
I assume the apartments would look something similar to the ones on North Market that you're working on?
Yes, but with that large of a group, we would change the colors up,
Okay.
and more landscaping, more shrubbery. Like to see more of that into our projects. And some type of barrier, we're thinking about doing tall trees. Although I know it's gonna take a while for those to grow, but I can still buy them that are, kind of large.
I'm sure it'd be done in phases, I mean, we wouldn't start off.
Phases, yeah, yeah, it's about an $8 million project, so
Yeah.
we would start it in phases. I've been approved for the first to do either houses or, so.
I just wanna make sure, this is more for the record, I think I know the answer, cause I think I know what these ovals are that are drawn is detention
Yes,
ponds,
sir.
right? So
Yes.
there were several notes of concerns that the residents, the neighboring residents had about drainage on this property having been a problem in the past.
Yes.
So I just want, you obviously by virtue of that understand that not
Yes.
only does the street have to be curb and gutter into our specifications,
Yes.
and that's gonna be expensive,
Yes,
but you have to have detention ponds and they have to be properly sized, or the runoff will be a problem, right?
yes, exactly.
Okay. So am I hearing you right? Again, this is not something I don't believe exists anywhere in the code that would, the city can dictate that you have a barrier on this west property line, but is that what you're speaking of when you say
Yes.
trees?
Yes, that's what I'm speaking of, yes.
So you are or are considering that?
We are considering, yes,
Okay,
yes, I'm getting prices on them. Those big tall ones are kind of thin,
yeah,
they almost look like a Christmas tree. But it would give some privacy to those people,
Okay.
because I can understand their concern.
well, I do too, but I don't think the city can dictate that.
Okay,
I don't think neighbors can necessarily dictate that. I do, however, think that would be a very neighborly thing to do.
right, exactly.
So, I'm glad to hear that.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Well, for my part, I know it's always contentious when there's a, seems like a, trying to get in my words here. There's some resistance to apartments. I don't know how else to plainly put it, and I understand that to an extent. And man, I could give a thought about this and studied this as far as what's going on in the economic world, trying to understand what that market is and what's driving it. But that would take me another 30 minutes, so I don't think I will give those thoughts now. That being said, I would just say this, there could be a lot worse things go on this property as a C1 commercial piece of property than it could be a residential piece of property, and the neighbors wouldn't even get a notice of that because it could be anything that would be commercial. So from my standpoint, I get it, may not be ideal for them, and what they would want, but I think it's a great improvement over what is there, so long as the street, the drainage and those things, particularly if you're gonna put the trees. And
Right.
for whatever it's worth, because I know there was a fence mentioned and trees,
It was.
if you can get big enough ones, I think it would be aesthetically more pleasing for trees for a few reasons. One, it's just healthier. Second of all, it's probably more cost efficient if you get a water them though, especially at first. But third, they provide not only sight barrier, but sound barrier a little bit better, in my opinion, than a fence does. That's just my opinion. Again, we can't dictate that to you, but, all right, we have a motion and a second on that item, right? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton,
Yeah,
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay?
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Stecklin,
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay. Item 5B is, as I explained, similar. It's all the same issues. And I'll make the motion to approve ordinance 3857, authorizing a zoning change at parcel 0720200003 from rural agriculture, in this case, to R2, general family residential to build apartments.
I'll second that.
Same issues, but if you thought of a question on the whole project, that's another opportunity. Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton,
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay?
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Steckland,
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay. Item 6 under new business is Commissioner Barwick.
I'd like to make a motion to approve an amendment to the collective bargaining agreement with the Marion Professional Firefighters Association Local 2977. What this amendment does, it brings parity with the starting pay with the fire department and the police department.
Second that motion.
Okay, and you've got this in your packet. Any questions on this item? Discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton,
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay?
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Steckland,
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay. Also, item 7, Commissioner Barwick.
I would move to adopt a resolution to enter into an agreement with the Illinois Telecommunicator Emergency Response Task Force, also known as IL-TERT.
Make sure you get that T.
Yeah,
Enunciated
T-E-R-T.
there on the end.
And I think Chief Fitz has any.
Oh,
Just if
you're
you have.
blending in with that brown door over there. I didn't even see it.
Thank you. What this is, I'm sure you're familiar with ILEAS. Okay, well, this is a similar program and unit just for telecommunicators. So what this would do is departments from all over the state will have representatives that are just telecommunicators join this. And if there's an emergency somewhere, then all these departments could send extra telecommunicators to help. And the same thing would happen for us. If we had an emergency here and it went on so long we was running out of telecommunicators, those departments could send us help free of charge to us. And one of the good things that I like about it is if we have to send somebody somewhere for an extended period of time or past 10-hour workday, Illinois TERT would cover every penny of overtime. And if it even got to the point where we had to call someone in to cover a shift on overtime, they would pay that as well. So we would be out 0 overtime expenses for this.
I might add, this isn't something that every day or every week we're gonna be contributing this in a major disaster. Who knows, we may need the same help. We have the same thing with the fire department, with Mavis, and with the police department, ILEAS. So this is, you never know when we'll need a helping hand like another department might.
Is there a second on that motion?
I'll second it if there's not.
Okay, any discussion or questions of the chief on this?
Where's the nearest 911 center from Marion? Harris still have one, I guess?
Yes, but we're kind of part of the same. We're divided up. We have 70% of the calls. Heron has 30. And then the next one would probably be up around Mount Vernon.
Okay.
And then the Metro East.
Just curious, yeah. I knew we had a big area now, so.
Yes.
Any questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton,
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay?
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Steckland,
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay. Item 8A, Commissioner Patton.
Yeah, Steve and I have been in conversations, and we would like to promote Jasmine Coombs, our newest employee, from accounts payable specialist to an accounting technician. We would like to make sure that she's cross-trained on payroll as well, and this would allow her to meet those demands of the schedule. It would receive, or she would receive $1 per hour increase, and she would have 2 6-month increment increases for her to get to the accounting technician top rate of pay. So my recommendation would be to agree with the treasurer's office to promote Jasmine Coombs to accounting technician with a starting pay rate of $21 an hour with 6-month increments to a rate of $22.83 at 1 year.
I would second that.
Any questions? roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton,
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay?
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Stecklin,
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay. Item 9A, Water Department. John, do you have this where you're at? Do you wanna go over it? or-
Yeah, you
Okay.
guys got it.
Okay.
Basically what this is, we need a new, trailer for our mini excavator. And, the old one's it's getting old and it's not replaced. This is in the budget, so this is a budgeted item. So my motion would be to, approve, the purchase of a new utility trailer. Basically, without trade-in, it's gonna come to $10,000, which we'll just pay for it, and it is budgeted, so that would be my motion.
I'll second that motion.
John, we just had these two bids on this, right?
Right, yeah, I think the one we'll take will be Ben's Lawn and Trailer.
Say that
It
again.
comes down to, Ben's Lawn and Trailer comes down to 10,000 even on it. The other one was Country Blacksmith, which was just a little bit higher, so.
Okay. Can you make that as a motion? Okay. For a second?
Jim.
Jim did.
Okay. Any questions? Sorry, I was thinking about something else. Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton,
Yay.
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay?
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Stecklin,
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay. All right, under commissioner reports, we'll start with Jim tonight.
Yeah, we've been working on sidewalks, the street department has on Chestnut Street. We'll do some ditching on the southwest part of the city and also on, Fourth Street as well. House demolition, working on a couple on Jody Lane and Midway Court. Those are in progress. Still working on signs and, getting the equipment ready for the weather event this week that we hope dodges us, but it's kind of on the fence how much snow we're gonna get, but we're gonna have everything ready and be ready to go out and, tackle it if we need to, so. Cemetery's good shape, nothing major going on out there, so.
Okay, Commissioner Stecklin?
All right, since the last meeting, the water department had 7 leaks repaired, 3 services updated, 5 meter pits were repaired. I want to also talk about the announcement we put out today. That is, we're sending out in the water bills a cross-connection survey. This is an EPA mandated thing for us to do every 5 years. So in addition to the cross-connection questions, we've added a couple questions regarding your water service material and the year your home was built, before or after 1989, if you know that. This aids us on new reports we have to file with the EPA. So you can turn those in when you pay your water bill to the water office, or just drop in the Dropbox. We appreciate every one of those things we can get back. It helps us for our EPA reports. That's all I got there, and I do have one trivia question for tonight, so since it is the second meeting of January. The trivia question is, what % of the population is able to drink the recommended 8 glasses or 64 ounces of water per day nationally? What % of our national population is able to drink that much a day?
You mean able as in does or physically can?
Basically, it's just, yeah.
What percentage actually drinks
a day?
64 ounces of water?
Yeah. Basically, what % of the population drinks the recommended 8
Okay.
glasses a day?
Thought it was a trick question. Oh, gosh.
25%.
Way high.
Wow. 5%.
Much closer. Yeah.
Still high?
7% of the population in the United States drinks the recommended thing. This was a year-long study by UCLA, proved that drinking 8 glasses of water per day is harder than anything else you ever experienced in your life when it comes to drinking. Only 7% of the population is able to complete that task each day. So that's from UCLA study. That's all I've got.
Okay, Commissioner Patton,
I don't have anything. Thank you, sir.
Commissioner Barr.
I don't have anything, but the trivia question, John, you can work on for next meeting. If everyone in the city of Marion drank the appropriate amount of water, how much would our water usage go up?
Is there any parameters to that, Commissioner Barwick, as an age?
I'll leave that up to you.
Okay.
So the theme is drink more water.
More water.
There you go.
Okay, anything to come before the council in miscellaneous, item 11. Okay, we do have a reason for an executive session to discuss a property, our property matters. We will probably stay in this room, so we are not gonna make any actionable decisions or any decisions after we end the closed session, so I'll ask for just the camera to, you can shut that off when I'm finished, and then you can go home, because there's no need to watch us close the meeting, I guess, at that point. We're not gonna be doing anything afterwards, so. That'd be my motion to enter into executive session for the purposes of discussing property.
I would second that.
Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Patton,
Yay?
Commissioner Barwick,
Yay?
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Steckland,
Yay.
Mayor Absher.
Yay. Bye, Carmen.